What if you were told from the moment you're born that you are worthless? Not weak or average, but worthless. That's what the Zenin clan told Toji. Most people collapse under that verdict. Toji did something else entirely. He decided to become the most dangerous human being alive, with nothing but his body and his rage. Before the reputation, there was a version of Toji that most people forget exists. He had a wife that we don't know much about. The story keeps her deliberately quiet, but what we know is enough. She was the one person in Toji's life who didn't measure him by cursed energy. She didn't look at him and see a defect. And for a man whose entire existence had been defined by rejection, that must have felt like oxygen. She gave him a son, but when she died, something in Toji died with her. That's where the gambling and the drinking starts. That's where the mercenary life starts. People look at post-wife Toji and see a reckless, self-destructive nihilist. But what they're actually seeing is a man in grief who has lost the only anchor that made the world feel worth staying in. The Zenin clan stripped him of belonging, and his wife's death stripped him of meaning. So he stopped pretending to care about anything, because caring had only ever cost him everything. He eventually sold his son, Megumi, to the Zenin clan. On the surface, that looks like abandonment. The ultimate proof that Toji felt nothing. But if you look closer, he gave his son his wife's family name, Fushiguro, not Zenin. That single detail is everything. He didn't want Megumi touched by the poison that destroyed him. He wanted his son to exist outside that world, even if he couldn't. That's not abandonment. That's the most protection a broken man knew how to give. Now let's talk about what Toji actually was. He doesn't fit any clean category. He wasn't a villain with an ideology nor a hero hiding his goodness. He was something rarer, a man who had been failed by every system that was supposed to give his life structure. Family, legacy, power, love. All of it collapsed. So he built his identity around the only thing that had never lied to him, his body. The heavenly restriction gave him something extraordinary. No cursed energy meant his physical capabilities were redirected to an inhuman level. Speed, strength, pain tolerance, reflexes, all sharpened beyond what any sorcerer could reach. He paired that with a tactical mind that could dismantle cursed techniques he couldn't even see. He studied how sorcerers thought, where they were arrogant, where their techniques had blind spots. He didn't just fight them, he understood them better than they understood themselves. The Sorcerer Killer wasn't a title given out of fear. It was a description of a methodology. Then comes Gojo. Young, untested, overflowing with the exact gifts Toji was denied. This fight is personal, in a way Toji would never admit. Because Gojo represents everything the Zenin clan told Toji he should have been a chosen one, born right, powerful by nature, and Toji nearly kills him. A man with zero cursed energy pushes the future strongest sorcerer to the absolute edge, until Gojo awakens something new and turns the tide. When Toji falls, he doesn't scream or rage, he just laughs. Because his point was never survival, it was proof, and he got it.
最後に言い残すことはあるか?
ねえよ。2、3年もしたら、俺のガキが全員家に売られる。好きにしろ。
But the story doesn't end there. Years later, Toji is resurrected through a cursed technique, his body brought back, his mind briefly, violently present. He finds himself face to face with a boy he doesn't recognize at first. He fights him brutally, without hesitation, until something cracks through. The name Fushiguro, his son's name, living in this boy's face.
名前は
伏黒。
全員じゃねえのか。
Megumi grown, fighting with the kind of strength Toji spent a lifetime building alone. In that moment, the only moment in the entire story where Toji is visibly shaken, he smiles. With full clarity, he turns his own technique against himself and ends it.
よかったな。
Not because he lost, but because he was satisfied. His son had survived and become someone. The thing he quietly hoped for when he gave him that name had happened. A man who was handed nothing, lost everything that mattered, and still managed to leave something good behind. He couldn't be a father or stay, but he made sure his son carried a name that wasn't poisoned. And when he saw that it worked, he let go. Toji Fushiguro was never given anything, no power, no family that wanted him, no reason to keep going. He just looked at his son one last time, smiled, and proved that the most dangerous thing in the world isn't cursed energy. It's a man who has nothing left to lose but something left to protect. And as for the Zenin clan, it existed only because of Toji's mercy after all.